that Emma Stamps was not here in the studios tonight, and that's because she is all the way over in Century, Florida, 3 hours away. I miss you, Emma, here, but I want you to tell us about our game of the week at Northview High School. The Vernon Yellow Jackets hoping to sting the Chiefs tonight. Emma, I know a lot of people with their eyes on this matchup. What happened on the field over there?
Hey, Courtney, that's right. It was a very exciting game. We hope to bring you some video. Maybe we can get that later in the show. Technical difficulties, like you said, I am 3 hours away. We're trying to get that sent back for you guys, but I will just tell you about the game. Yes, Vernon came in 5-1 on the year. Northview 7-1 on the year. One of these very talented teams had to lose tonight. So Vernon actually won the coin toss. They elected to defer to the second half. They go to kick it off. They kick an onside kick, as we've seen them do a few times this season. They recover the onside kick. So Vernon started with the ball. They scored quickly. Marcus Hammock started at quarterback. He found Kwan Powell in the end zone. So the Jackets went up then, but they missed a 2-point conversion. It was 6-0. Then Northview would actually go down and score, and they would take the lead with an extra point. They kicked it, so it was 7-6. But the ensuing kickoff, Vernon responded as they do. E.J. Redis took the ball and went all the way to the house to put Vernon back on top. They converted the 2-point that time. It was 14-7. Northview would score again in the second half, but Vernon was actually on top headed into the break. 28-13, going into the break. Vernon added another score in the third quarter to make it 34-13. Now, Northview would score in the fourth quarter, but it wouldn't be enough. Vernon won tonight 34-19. This is a very big game for them. That means they move on to the region final, and we saw a lot in this game, but what we saw is this team, they never gave up. There was some calls didn't go their way. There was times, they thought they had a big play or maybe a score and it got called back, but they didn't let that get to them. They just kept fighting. And you got to remember, these Yellow Jackets, their best players, they play on offense and defense. These guys never leave the field, but they're conditioned for that. Vernon had a rough year. They got a lot of games canceled on them because of the coronavirus. They didn't actually have it themselves. They were fortunate in that matter, but they had a lot of games canceled because of the coronavirus, so they didn't get to play as much. But I talked to head coach Gerald Tranquil before the game. He told me that actually helped them. They were able to heal up some guys ahead of the playoffs. So tonight, getting the big win, 34-19, and they are going to face off against Baker next round. Little spoiler alert there. We're gonna get to that score later. But now, Courtney, Baker is a team that Baker has knocked out Vernon the last few years in the playoffs. So Vernon is seeking some vengeance. And the cool thing about this team, Courtney, is Gerald Tranquil has been the head coach for 4 years. So that means he's been with the senior class, obviously, for their 4 years. It's a very special group. I got to talk to him after the game. Hopefully we'll get to see that later in the show. But he said it's just their leadership and their attitudes. And, on the back of their jerseys, they say family. That means forget about me. I love you. And we saw that tonight. I think we're going to see it next week. And Vernon is going to get to host that game next week, Courtney.
Wow, that's awesome, Emma.